Thanks for watching. I'm Prerna Agarwal, Technical Product Owner for The Guardian. Today we'll be giving you Guardian update of Sprint 93 that lasted from June 9 to June 20th. So just a quick overview of the agenda. We will be talking about the Guardian roadmap. We'll be also talking about the issues that we'll be tackling that we tackled in Sprint 93. Then we'll be flipping over and giving you a short demo on Sprint 93. Then we'll be talking ahead of week of June 23rd, which is Sprint 94, and we'll also be talking about the issues that we'll be tackling in Sprint 94. We'll be talking about the upcoming releases, and we'll be giving you some of the ways that you can either submit bugs or policy requests through various different channels. Talking about Guardian roadmap, so we are continuing our work on the updated software libraries. We are working on the detailed research and the indexer enhancements. We are also working on the VM49 policy design and the development, which is V1.0 version. And we are also working on the identifying, implementing, and integrating the third-party resources in Guardian. Talking about Sprint 93, so in Sprint 93, we committed to 39 story points and we delivered 39 story points, which includes 4304, which is Guardian policy embedded code testing, debugging facility for custom logic, calculator, and etc. blocks. We also worked on 3959, which is substitute Google Maps APIs in Guardian UI with other alternative. And we also worked on 4107, which is missing authentication between services. Let's look at Sprint 93 demo. So the one ticket what we'll be looking at is 4304, which is Guardian Policy Embedded Code Testing, Debugging Facility for Custom Logic, Calculate, etc. blocks. So currently when defining a chunk of a source code in, for example, the Calculate block, policy authors often find it difficult to detect logical or even syntax errors as there is no facility to debug, test, run, view, or at least print out the values of the variables in the block. The only method of debugging provided by the Guardian currently is to run the policy end to end and try to identify issues from the logs or error codes. This is too time consuming and labor intensive. So in order to make policy developers' life easier and test their calculations in the calculate logic block, what we have done is we have actually implemented a new functionality where they can actually test their particular calculate logic block in during the policy configurator itself in the dry run mode, just to make sure that the values what they are expecting at the outcome is expected and correct, rather than checking at the end of the policy by running the policy end to end. So now we have a demo on this on how to do that. Now as you can see that we do have a calculate block here, which is map employee default values, and then you have a play button there which you can click, and then you would now see there are three sections over here, which is properties, input data, and code. So properties are nothing but the block properties which you already configured, and then when you go to the input data, you can actually select the schema. You can input the data through the schema and then enter it, the values what you want, what you have used for the calculate, or you can also input the data through JSON by just copy pasting the JSON file. Then you can also just upload it, and then you can also use the data from the history if you have any document if used in this particular policy. And then once you go back and go to the code, you would be able to see the code what you have added in the calculate logic block, and then you can see that inputted data into this using the input data section. Now you can also test it by clicking on test. Once you click on test, you would be able to see the input, the logs, the output, and the errors if you have any errors in that code. So we'll just add some over here. Like as you can see that we have some import, some functions what we have defined here. So in order to like debug, you can just use debug and debug logging function, saying that you can see how the code is working. So I just add as debug test, and then I also add the debug in the line number 5, just to see how the logic is working till line number 5. So when you click on test, you would see those in the logs. If you go to logs, you would see that you have added a test, and then you would also see the logs of that document. So this is just another example of if you have any error in the code, you would see that code or error in that error section. So as you can see that this is much more for the policy author or the policy developer to make the calculations much more easier, and they can debug during the creation of the policy. To know more about this particular feature, we have also added a documentation. If you go to docs.hedera.com, under standard registry, under policy, you would see testing/debugging code section, where you would be able to see a complete UI, step-by-step UI, and you can also see all the APIs related to this particular feature. If you have any questions, feel free to please reach out to us so that we can help you in any way we can. Talking about Sprint 94, so in Sprint 94, we currently were committing to 42 story points, which includes 4049, which is authorization headers, potentially leaked through IPFS in request data module. This is one of our audit issue. Then we are also fixing one of the other bug, which is 4900, which is add key column in the Excel template to rename the key of schema field. This is again more for the policy developers. The other audit issue what we'll be solving is 4056, which is outdated software libraries. And the last is a bug, which is the import export to Excel should work with auto calculate fields, which is 4722. Talking about our upcoming releases, our last release was on Monday, May 19, 2025. Next release will be on Thursday, July 31st, 2025. So there are multiple ways to reach out to us. You can reach out to us on GitHub. You can submit policy requests, enhancements, or if you have any bugs, please log that bug in GitHub issues so that we can get a team on it. Also, if you haven't joined our Discord, please go to hedera.com/discord and search for sustainability channel. Or you can reach out directly to Envision to us by submitting a policy request through our email, which is info@envisionblockchain.com, or directly through our website, which is www.envisionblockchain.com. Thank you. Have a great day.